Allison, what were Paul's plans for Christmas? He's coming over, right? Yes, that is what he told me, and I don't think that's changed at all. He said he wanted to visit you and everyone back home. That is what I thought from when we last spoke. The last time I heard from him, he said he wasn't sure. He's never clear with his words, that Paul of mine. Well, this time of the year, there's so much snowfall around your area, Mother. It will make it difficult to drive there. Paul says that he wants to go, but it is difficult with the weather and work. The flights could be delayed. Maybe he was just keeping that in mind when telling you? He didn't want to give you a definite answer until he was sure? Well, he should just tell me whether he's coming or not coming. He doesn't need to be so vague. He is never clear with what he says. That boy has always been that way. He barely calls us at the best of times anyway. So I end up having to make you my messenger for what's going on in his life. Sorry. I try to tell him over and over to make sure to message you, Mother. But he never changes. He's always been bad at keeping in touch with people. Even when we were dating, he was always slow to message me back. I don't care about that. I don't care about how he acts in your relationship. Wait a second. Let me get something straight. Do you plan on coming with him to our home? I mean, my husband is returning to his family home. As his wife, of course I will be joining him. Paul agrees with me and said the same thing. Oh no, really? You're actually coming? You needn't go out of your way. You don't have to if you don't want to. Even if you come, you'll just be a nuisance. You would only be in the way. You're such a bother to have over. Father asked me to come. He wanted to see me. That's what he told me personally. And turning him down would be rude now, wouldn't it? My husband said that. He wanted to see you. God, Paul and him share such weird tastes. You're nothing special. I really do wonder what they like about you. It's definitely not something that I see. I wouldn't be able to tell you what they see in me. How about you ask them yourself? That might be better than asking me. Of course I can't do that. There's no way I am asking them myself. They'll just ask if I have something against you again. Or something along those lines. It's always the same. I say something about you and they immediately come to your defense. Gosh, I hate how they do that. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to say. I don't need your empty apologies, Allison. They mean nothing to me. If you're going to apologize, then apologize by divorcing Paul, please. If not, your sorry will just make me mad. Always with the meaningless apologies. You should back them up with action. Please don't say that. You know I can't divorce him. I won't divorce him. Paul and I are in a loving marriage, and I don't see myself leaving him ever. It's not as weak a marriage as to be so easily broken apart. We have a bond. We both trust and respect each other. Since Paul married you, he had to move away from his hometown and leave my husband and I. Do you not feel bad for taking him away from me? He is my son. He should be with me. But Paul and I met after he had left home. Now you're just bending the truth to fit your narrative, Mother. No, he was always a mother's boy. He only ever cared about me. He had always planned to return home eventually. But meeting you made him change his mind. He just had to fall into your hands. Now he doesn't want to return home. I only ever get to see him on Christmas. What kind of mother only sees her son once a year? That's because we live so far from you. It's not on purpose. We simply can't come to see you that often. It's not realistic. It just isn't that easy to visit all the time. You say that, but I bet you're the one putting thoughts into Paul's head, telling him not to come see his mother. I mean, he never messages anymore. What is that about? You've changed him. He was never the type to ignore his mother. And for this long! Well, either way, we'll be home for Christmas. So you will be able to see him soon. And I'll speak to Paul about making sure to call you. Just to make sure he messages you more often. So please, can you make do with that until we visit? It shouldn't be too long now. Do you guarantee it? I don't want to hear empty promises. You make sure that he does visit me. If Paul makes sure to message, then I can get by waiting for a little longer. Only if he messages me. At least that way I won't have to go through the pain of messaging you, too. I am sick of using you as a messenger. You're so useless at it anyway. Make sure you speak to him. Tell him to message and call more often. Don't worry. I will speak to him. I'll make sure he knows to contact more often. Please take care of yourself, Mother. Your health is important. It'd be a shame to get sick after looking forward to meeting Paul all this time. That would be really unfortunate for you. I don't need you to tell me that. I know how to take care of my own health, and I especially don't need your advice on that. God, you're so annoying. I still don't understand why Paul chose you. Always so annoying and nagging. Allison, when is Paul coming over? You said he would be over soon. It's almost Christmas, you know. You promised me. Why haven't I received a single message from him? Paul is still busy with work. That's why he can't come over yet, and it is probably why he hasn't been messaging. It should ease up after today, so please be patient a little longer. Once he has completed his project, we should have time to visit. So, you'll be coming over tomorrow, then? That's asking a lot. It's going to take a little more than one day to get there. Plus, we need to drop by my parents' home on the way. We promised to see them together before we went to your house. At the earliest, it will take a few days at least. Excuse me! When was that decided? And why does your parents' home come first? That does not make any sense. I'm his real mother. That's just wrong. He should be coming to visit me first. You are Paul's mother, yes. I am not arguing that. But these are my real parents, too. They want to see me, and they want to see Paul just the same. They could say the exact same thing that you are. And that's perfect. How about we do this? I don't want you to visit anyway. Which is why you don't need to come to my house. You're a nuisance and a bother anyway. How about you go to your home with your parents, alone? Enjoy your time by yourself. That way Paul can come straight here, without you, and I can have my son back. You know that won't happen. Please be reasonable. In the same way Paul's father so kindly wants to see me, my parents want to see Paul just the same. They miss him too. It is just a few days. Please be patient. We will come visit, definitely. Again with the be patient! God, I'm sick of you saying that to me. I waited because you said Paul would message me. But that entire time he only messaged me on that one day. Since then, I heard absolutely nothing from him. How dare you ask me to be patient again? I'm tired of hearing it when you didn't keep your promise with me. You promised to speak to Paul and that he would message me. I told you before. He was busy with work until today. So we could not come over any earlier. And Paul probably wanted to message too. He was coming home late every day while he was working. It really was busy. He couldn't message you every day, of course. That would have been impossible. I barely even got a chance to talk to him, and we live under the same roof. I knew it! You said something to him, didn't you? You made him cut contact with me. Or even worse, you never said anything at all. And just why would you think that? I spoke to him like I said. There is no reason for me to not tell him. I don't get anything out of telling him not to message you. Paul can make his own decisions. He must have just been busy. If you spoke to him, then Paul would want to come home to me. He would understand that his mother's thinking of him. That's why you're getting in the way on purpose. You're trying to stop him coming home, or even messaging his own mother. That's exactly the kind of thing a conniving woman like you would do. Conniving is a strong word, Mother. Honestly, I'm impressed by your imagination every time. I have done nothing to make you think what you're telling me. But you couldn't be further from the truth. I have done no such thing. I am not trying to get in the way. I don't have a reason to. What is that supposed to mean? Are you trying to imply something? Are you saying Paul would choose you over me? I'm his mother. Of course he would choose me first. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. Please understand. Anyway, can you wait a little longer? We will definitely come over to visit. But for now, we have other plans, like letting Paul rest and visiting my home first. How can any plans take priority over his mother? You're clearly making these plans up. I'm getting nowhere with you. I can't trust what you say. Make Paul contact me right this moment. That way, I can hear from him personally. Paul is at work right now, finishing up the busy period. He won't be able to message you. And because of that, it means they're going to be celebrating. He's probably going to be home late today too, which is why it'll be hard to message you back. You have a reply to everything, don't you? The backtalk from you is unbelievable. You're not fit to be Paul's wife. How about I put it this way, in a way that might make you a little happier? What are you talking about? If you're just trying to appease me, I don't want to hear it. What way can you put it that will help? How can you possibly make the situation better? My own son won't come to visit me first. If we clear our schedules before coming over to your house, like after visiting my parents, that means we can spend all of the remaining holiday with you, so you'd have more time with Paul. If we came to your house first, we'd have to leave early, to then go and do all the other things. I guess you're right about that. So the time you wait will mean we can stay longer once we're there. So isn't that a good thing? You have more time with Paul, and we can clear our schedules. Well, when you put it that way, it makes sense. Somewhat. I guess even you say things that make sense sometimes. Thank you very much. I appreciate your understanding. Well, with that, I hope there are no problems. Okay, just this time I'll be patient and put up with you. Thank you for your understanding. Allison, I've had this thought lately. One that you might like yourself. As thanks for you being so good to me, allow me to offer you my thanks. Let me do something for you. Your thanks? Whatever do you mean? Yes, when you come visit, I'll take extra special care of you. I have something planned that you will love. I have your own special room prepared for you to stay in. It's absolutely perfect for you. Isn't that lovely? You have your very own place to yourself where you can stay well away from my Paul. What do you mean, special room? For staying the night? You mean for Paul and I together? Or just me? This is a special room for you, Allison. All alone. It's my thanks to you for being so kind to me all the time. It's separate from Paul's, of course. I want to thank you personally. Well, don't worry about the details. I'll explain it to you when you arrive. Look forward to it. It's a very special place just for you. I am now really looking forward to you coming over. Allison, have you got the drinks yet? We're waiting for them. Hurry on back, will you? It's been quite a while. What are you doing? Apologies, I should have it all. Be back soon, and with alcohol in tow. Is Paul still awake? He drank quite a lot. Ah, Paul, that boy is already soundly asleep. Well, after drinking that much is understandable. He was really putting them down. His father's still drinking, though, so make sure to buy enough for him to have enough. Oh, and extra too while you're out anyway. That's no problem, but are you sure Father's fine drinking that much? He is not as young as he used to be. He already had quite a lot with Paul. Maybe he should stop now that Paul's asleep? Can you blame him? His son finally came home after a long time. He wants to celebrate that old man. Let him have his fun. It's fine every once in a while. Plus, it wouldn't have been such a long time and he would not be drinking so much if someone didn't drag Paul so far away from his home in the first first place. Right. Because of you, they're seeing each other after so long. Mother, I think you've had a little too much to drink as well. You should get to sleep too when I get home. I shouldn't be too long now. I'll clean up everything. It's fine. You're the wife. Of course you're going to be cleaning up. Why state the obvious? Do I have to tell you every single thing about being a proper wife for Paul? God, you're as useless as ever. Also, I'm not sleeping just yet. Not until you're back, at least. I still have to show you to your room for the night. The one I prepared for you especially. Oh, that's right. You did mention a room that you had prepared for me. You said it was a special room. Whatever did you mean? That's right. One that is absolutely perfect for you to stay in. You're aware of our shed, correct? The one that's beside the house. I was thinking it has just the room for you. Shed? You mean that tiny building by the house? That didn't look like it was in too good a shape. Well, of course. It's hardly been taken care of. It is basically unused now. Apparently, it has been there since my grandfather's era, which makes it really old. I heard it was last used before he got married. Since then, it has been completely untouched. Hold on. Is that safe to use? Also, it is really cold outside today. And it has been snowing. I'm not sure about staying in that shed. There's heating and insulation in the building, right? In that old shed? Of course not! That building goes below freezing in this weather. The main house, of course, was remodeled when we moved in. That shed hasn't had any work done to it, so it does get very cold. Well, that's not very good. What? Do you have a problem with that? If there's anything amiss, let me know. I was just thinking, if I caught cold from staying in there, I would be such a burden on you. Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't be taking care of you. Oh, and don't bother asking Paul for help. He's out cold, that boy. It's why I made him drink so much. So don't expect him to come to your help. And my husband is completely drunk. So don't expect him to be useful either. Thoroughly prepared as always. I respect that about you. You are at least thorough. What a backhanded compliment. Why don't you say what you really mean? Do you mean to say you have problems with your sleeping arrangements? The ones that I so carefully prepared for you as thanks. No, not at all. I have no problems with that. But are you sure that you're okay with this? Letting me stay in my own big room? Even if it is separate. Using it all for myself feels wrong, you know? Oh, no worries. Don't be so modest. I prepared it especially for you. Although we call it a shed, it is just one small little room. Perfect for a wife like you. Well, when you put it that way, I will take you up on your offer, Mother. When you get back, I'll show you exactly where it is. Before you sleep, make sure you clean everything up, okay? I don't want to wake up to a mess. As soon as you're settled, I am going straight to bed, too. I'll be waiting. Allison, when I woke up, no one was home. No one is here. I can't get through to Paul or my husband either. Where is everybody? Why is nobody home? Good morning. It seems you had a lot to drink last night, so let me get you caught up to speed. No matter what we did, we could not wake you. So we went out with just the three of us. Without me? You left the house with my husband and son without me. Paul and my husband are so cold to me. They shouldn't have left without me. You should have done your best to wake me up. Sorry, you were sleeping so soundly I didn't want to wake you. Truly, you have such little awareness. No care for how I feel at all. Well, putting that aside, that's not important. More importantly, what about the room? You slept in that room, didn't you? You mean the freezing shed? Of course that's what I mean. I did choose it for you especially. Sorry if staying the night in that cold room made you sick. Well, like I said yesterday, I won't be taking care of you, even if you are sick. Oh no, I'm perfectly fine, thank you. Right as rain. My husband, however, was found freezing in that room in the morning. We had to call an ambulance and are at the hospital right now. Wait, why was Paul... And what do you mean, hospital? What happened? Well, after you showed me to the shed, I went to stay at a different place. What different place? What are you talking about? Where did you stay? At a nearby hotel from your house. It was much more comfortable. I reserved it while I was buying alcohol for everyone. Thanks to everyone being home for Christmas, there was more than enough space. Why would you do such a thing? You went behind my back. After I prepared a room for you. If I had slept in that room, things would have gotten into a big mess. It's just if I said I was sleeping somewhere else, you would have gotten angry, Mother. Paul and father-in-law were sleeping too. I thought if I returned before you woke up, you wouldn't notice. Then why was Paul sleeping there? I made sure to put him in his own room. It turns out, last night he had seen you leading me to the shed. He was wondering why I hadn't come to join him. Paul was awake. When was this? Yes, he was awake, and he was making his way to the bathroom, is what he says. Perfect timing, too. He saw you and I just as we were heading to the shed. So he went to go help me by heading to the shed, too. But apparently he just missed me as I was leaving. He wasn't sure why I wasn't there. But because he was so drunk, he fell asleep there in the shed while he was waiting for me to come back. I bet he thought I was in the bathroom or something like that. So Paul slept out there! Is he okay? How is he feeling? Luckily, he seems to be fine. He just got very cold during the night. Although any longer and it would have been dangerous for his health. He has a checkup in a few days and is staying at the hospital right now. Oh, thank God. If anything had happened to him, I don't know what I would have done. Actually, from what you said, it means that Paul getting into that position is all your fault. You're the one who is to blame. My fault? How would it be my fault? That's right. It's your fault. Because you left and stayed somewhere else without telling anyone. Because you left the house, Paul fell asleep there. If you were there, you could have stopped him. Not only causing problems for your mother-in-law by making me worry, but putting your own husband at risk too by letting him freeze in that cold room. You're a failure as a wife. Forgive me for saying, but I believe the failure is you, mother-in-law. And why is that? The cause of all of this was because you tried to put me in that shed. You're the one who tried to put me in that freezing room in the first place. The one who put our own child at risk was you, Mother. On top of that, that only happened because you tried to hurt me because of your pointless grudge that you keep holding for some reason. As a wife and a mother, you're the real failure. You were the one who put everyone at risk. Who do you think you're speaking to? I am your mother-in-law. You're just his wife. I'm his mother. You do know what comes next, right? Prepare yourself for the consequences. No, you should know what comes next, Mother. I forgot to say, but the text about being a failure as a wife and mother, that wasn't me. Are you trying to run from your own words? That won't work. It's all written there. No, not at all. I don't have anything I need to run from. But the one who called you a failure as a mother was Paul, not me. Those are his words, not mine. And the one who called you a failure as a wife was Father. Once again, those are his words. Do you understand what that means? Are you prepared for your consequences? Do you think I'd fall for such an obvious lie? I know you're just making trouble like you always do. Those two would never say anything bad about me. Mother, please put the situation together. I am currently visiting Paul at the hospital. With his father and your husband, who is currently not at your home. And obviously Paul is here by me being treated. My point is, they're reading it all. while next to me. If you could see their expressions. What do you mean, reading it all? Stop spinning lies! You don't mean these messages! That's exactly what I mean. They're reading all of these messages alongside me. Father and I are now going to make our way back home. Paul is going to have to stay at the hospital for a little while, unfortunately. So please prepare yourself for what comes next, Mother. You should probably have a pen ready to sign the divorce papers your husband is bringing home with him. After my father-in-law and I returned home, he put the divorce papers in front of mother-in-law and made his intention very clear to her. My mother-in-law was, of course, against the idea, but after trying to hurt her own son's wife, and because of that, hurting her son due to her actions, leaving him in the hospital for several days, she was unable to make any excuses for herself, and the divorce was decided. Father was never going to take her back after hearing all that she had done. And after a few days in the hospital, my husband cut all ties with his mother. I brought him up to speed with all the ways she treated me, and he was not happy to hear about it, of course. Since the house was technically in her name, she did not lose it in the settlement. However, I bet that big house is very cold without her husband and son. With this opportunity, Paul's dad is now living with us. He's enjoying his freedom at home with his son. Thankfully, made a full recovery and had no lasting issues from the night in the shed. Just an injured image of his mother. Paul and his father both still treat me with the love and care that they always had. Paul's father is always kind to me, and I really love having him in our house. Our marriage is as strong as ever since the incident, and we love our little home away from his evil ex-wife. Paul and I spoke at length about how she was treating me. He was appalled to hear just the kind of things she had said to me. He was truly just busy with work, and he did love his mother until the end. I want to protect this warm house of ours and never let the cold in again. Thank you for tuning into this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed.